Please go ahead, sir. We are live now.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. My name is Jaidev Sharma. I'm a Joint Director, Head Metal and Mining, Siemens Electric Association. We're thankful to all of you for participating in this significant webinar. Before we move forward, I would like to introduce to our moderator, Mr. G.K. Sahu, for a brief. Mr. Sahu completed Bachelor degree in Civil Engineering in 1987 from Government Engineering College, Bilaspur, and Master degree in Structural Engineering from MNREC, Allahabad in 1989. He has cumulative experience of 30 years in the field of bridge engineering. At present, he is working as a senior principal scientist in Bridge Engineering and Structure Division, CSR, CRI Institute, New Delhi, and looking after the works of health assessment of bridges, quality supervision, repair, and rehabilitation works of bridges. After you, Mr. Sahu. Thank you very much. So you are not audible, sir.
Thank you, Sarmaji. Good afternoon to everyone. I welcome our panelist, Manoj Rastogi ji, Ashwani Pahuja ji, Mahapatra ji will join soon, and Jadhav Sharma ji and Amit Sharma ji from ASSOCHAM. Dear friends, today's webinar Cement Tech, actually you see the topic is a burning one, Road to Net Zero Carbon Cement. This is the topic which whole world is really anxious how we can bring down to the minimum level of this carbon footprint. And if you see worldwide, carbon footprint coming from the cement industry is too much actually. In carbon manufacturing, if you see cement manufacturing in China is the leading one worldwide. There is around, if you see last year data, around 2.2 billion metric ton China is producing. Our India is the second one, about 500 metric ton per annum. Then Vietnam is the third one, and United States is the fourth one. And if you see the carbon footprints coming from all the industries, 30% contribution is from the cement industry. So today's topic is the very relevant for each and everyone. And I welcome our panelists one by one, and you will enjoy really. They are having very long experience, more than 40 years in the field of cement industry. So really we all enjoy, and we will see what is the latest technique the cement industry is adopting to bring the carbon footprint to the whatever the minimum possible. As you know, some time back, we were producing same amount of carbon dioxide. Whatever we are producing cement, say 1 ton to 1 ton. Then our technology improved, and at present we are producing around 0.7 ton. I think. Let us know by our experts. So first I invite Sri Manoj Rastogi ji. He is the Executive Vice President, JSW Cement, for knowledge of our participants. I will read his brief biodata. First, Sri Rastogi ji is a senior business leader and has significantly contributed in business strategy and project management and other strategic initiatives in the cement, steel, and energy sectors. In his 29 years of professional career, in his present role as Executive Vice President, he is leading sustainability, R&D business strategy, and CapEx project for JSW Cement Limited, India. He is director on the board of JSW Cement, FZE, UAE, Siva Cement Limited, JSW, Green Cement Private Limited, Utkarsh Transport Private Limited, all subsidiary companies of JSW Cement Limited. He is also on the board of GCCF Private Limited, India. In his personal capacity, he is mechanical engineering graduate from BITS Pilani, India, and an MBA from Indian School of Business, ISB, Hyderabad, India. Thank you, sir. So I welcome you, sir, for your good remarks and presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Sahu. That is some introduction. Thank you, Mr. Jaidev and ASSOCHAM, for inviting JSW to participate in this panel discussion. As Mr. Sahu said, this is something which is a topic which is being discussed all over the world, and is one of the topic which needs a lot of discussion and deliberation to see that we tackle this burning issue, which is a challenge for the existence of humanity. I mean, if we have to extrapolate it to the extreme. I'll take a minute to brief on our company, JSW Cement. So we are a building materials company. We manufacture cement. We manufacture cementitious products like GGBS. We have our own ready-mix concrete plants, RMC plants. We are also into construction chemicals. We sell some of the aggregates, the fine aggregates. We have a product, which is made out of the waste from the steel plants, slag sand, which replaces river sand. We are also into the sales of the limestone, dolomite, and the other sizes of the aggregates for the construction industry. We started our company in 2009. Practically for all practical purposes, the production started in 2012 out of the Nandyal, which is a clinker plant in AP. Today we are at 14 million ton in terms of the cement capacity, installed capacity. And we have projects which are in pipeline right now under construction. And after completion of that, we are going to be close to 22 million ton by March 23. We have presence in Karnataka, AP, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Odisha, and also a plant in UAE in Fujairah. We are also expanding in Tamil Nadu, putting up a plant over there, and we have taken the auction mines for limestone in the state of Rajasthan and Gujarat. So the topic today, if we look at it, so we all know India is a growing economy, is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. As it stands, we are in the top 3 nations in the world in terms of the GDP as per the purchasing power parity. And infrastructure is a major thrust by the government because of the requirement of the people. So there are government projects which are happening, private projects which are happening, the new industries which are coming up. There are private-public partnership projects which are happening. The housing, in the urban areas, in the rural areas, more in the rural areas. So all that is happening. We are also working. Government is working on smart cities, where the latest technologies are going to be deployed, to build the new smart cities, for the livelihood of the people. So urbanization and construction and the the infrastructure, all that we would be needing the construction material, building material. Cement is the major raw material and the input material for that. Concrete as such, if we look at it globally, is the most used human-made material all over the world. So in terms of the consumption, water is most consumed, but that is something which nature has given us. So in terms of the man-made, concrete is the most used material, and we really need to look at ways and means to reduce the carbon footprint which is coming out of the carbon from the cement industry and the building materials industry. The climate change, because I mean the CO2 is the emission of the CO2. It leads to, if we have to put it in a very broad this thing, it leads to the global warming because of the greenhouse gas emissions and the climate change, which we are witnessing even today. And we are at a risk if we are not going to curtail or combat the greenhouse gas emissions. We might get into a position after 10 years where the process is going to be irreversible and the damage to the nature and to all of us is going to be for permanent. In terms of the cement industry, as Mr. Sahu was explaining, we have CO2 emissions which are coming out of the cement industry. Globally, if we have to see the cement industry as a whole, which is 4.2, 4.3 billion tons of the cement which is getting manufactured every year, it contributes to around 7 to 8% of the global emissions, the CO2 emissions. The maximum CO2 comes from the energy sector and the transport sector. These two sectors, they constitute roughly 50% of the total CO2 emission. Cement is around 7 to 8%. In terms of the India performance and the global, so cement, for every 1 ton of cement which we are selling in India, we are emitting approximately, these are the pre-COVID data, approximately 560 kg per ton. The global average is 600. So we are definitely, much below the global average. But there is a lot of distance, which is to be done and to be traveled if we have to get to the net zero. The In terms of, again, the performance of the Indian cement industry, we feel proud and we feel happy because we have plants which are all the companies I'm talking about, industry as a whole. We have the latest plants, where the specific heat consumption, specific energy consumptions per ton of cement, they are the lowest in the world. So there is a it is of utmost proud feeling, that we guys in India, we have worked over the years to increase the efficiency in our cement plants. And the one of the reasons for that is there is a supply overhang in India because the installed capacity is much more than the demand of the cement in India right now. And because of that, the efficiency is the key. So the specific heat consumption, specific power consumption, we are the lowest in the world. We have recently, a week back, couple of weeks back, when the COP26 was happening in Glasgow in UK, Prime Minister of India, he made a statement, a very good statement, in COP26. That India is 19% of the global population, contributing to 5% of the CO2 emission. So percentage-wise and the CO2 emission-wise, we are still much better than Northern America and the European countries. And a lot of work in India is happening onto the renewable energy. We are the fastest growing country in the world, in terms of the renewable energy shifting to the solar and the wind power. Instead of the burning the coal and the fossil fuels. And 2070 is the target, which he has given for India to achieve net zero. The cement industry, the process, most of you guys, coming from the cement industry would understand where the CO2 is coming from. So if we have to look at it, the sources of the carbon, where the CO2 is coming from, so there are 3 or 4 categories, or the 3 and 4, process steps which are there. The first and the foremost, which is the calcination of the limestone. So the raw material, which is the limestone for manufacturing cement, that is calcium carbonate, and then we calcine it to calcium oxide, before making the hydraulic compounds, which gives us the cementitious property, coming out of the cement, and the hydraulic properties. So calcination of limestone, removal of the CO2 from calcium carbonate is the first step, and that is why it is called hard to abate sector, because this is the process of the removing the CO2 from the limestone, which is the natural ore. Then we use the fuel, mainly coal and also pet coke. For the calcination of the limestone and the burning of the limestone for the clinker manufacturing. We use electrical energy as part of the process. At the back end, if the electrical energy is coming from the state electricity boards, again, the coal is used, for the power generation. And the coal is used, in drying up the material. Some of the cementitious material we use, like blast furnace slag, in the grinding units. There are solutions which are there. There are technical solutions, which are today, which we have, which are present in India, present, elsewhere in the globe, and some of the lot of research work which is going on right now. The first and the foremost is to use the alternative cementitious material and the supplementary cementitious material so that we don't have to mine the limestone and then reduce it, to manufacture clinker and then to produce cement, which we call it ordinary Portland cement. But we use the other material, the waste material coming from the other industries, which have got cementitious properties, and they could be used as supplementary cementitious material, which is like the circular economy across sectors. So it solves the problem of multiple industries. So the waste, which is coming from the coal-fired power plants, which is fly ash, the waste coming from the steel industry, which is the blast furnace slag. So these are the two major supplementary cementitious material which India, most of the cement companies in India, they are using. We are also using the alternative fuels instead of the coal and the petcoke. So there is biomass, there is RDF, there is municipality waste, coming from the different urban local bodies, plastic waste, which is coming from the FMCGs and other industries. So that can be burnt very well in the kiln of the main process equipment which we have for clinker manufacturing. And in India, practically all the cement companies have been using, alternative fuel, depending again on the location and the availability, in that particular area. Waste heat recovery is another option, which most of the Indian companies we have. We have installed waste heat recovery boilers to generate electricity, from the waste heat coming out of the coolers. After the kiln, we have cooler and the preheater, which is part of the rotary kiln equipment, the pyro process equipment. So the waste heat recovery is one. The solar power plants, which are there. Most of us, we have the rooftop and the wherever the land is available within the plants, we have put up, the solar power plants. Uh, the These are the things which are happening right now, and that makes us, efficient, the Indian industry efficient in terms of the specific energy consumptions and also, the lower CO2 emissions. There are new technologies which have been being worked out. There are new types of the cement, which are being worked out. So instead of the limestone, we take China clay as a raw material, and then calcine it and use as a calcined clay as a cementitious material, and that is the LC3, which we are working on. This is being worked globally, by the other cement companies also. We are also working on the carbon capture and utilization. So whatever the limestone which we are burning, CO2 coming out of the limestone burning, we capture that and utilize. The carbon capture, there are ways and means to do that, and there are technical solutions which are available globally. The thing which is to be addressed in the next 10 years or 15 years is going to be the utilization part of it. Once we capture the CO2, how do we use that CO2 elsewhere, in different industries? Uh, the uh, the out of all these solutions which are being worked out, the one of the thing, which is very important for us, and then which we are working on is the supplementary cementitious material. It actually helps in multiple ways, because one, we are using the waste, from the other industry. The second is we are conserving limestone, reduces the capex also, makes the material cheaper also. So there is a commercial play also in that. And the carbon goes down drastically. So compared to the OPC, once we do the blended cement with the slag and the fly ash, the specific carbon comes out, less than 50% compared to the OPC. We have recently, I don't know if Mr. Mohapatra has joined, but Mr. Pahuja and I, together we worked along with GCC India on a technical paper with Mr. Mohapatra and his team to make a technical paper on the advantages of the blended cement and how the government projects, they can use or increase the consumption of the blended cement into the infrastructure projects, and then that is how it is going to lead to the lower carbon economy. There are few other challenges. The in the at the policy level with the frameworks, which we have. I'll just highlight, a couple of them. The one is the clinker import duty. So there is an import duty which is levied on the import of the clinker. Now the clinker is seaworthy and can be imported. And the import duty should not be there because the maximum CO2 is coming out of the clinker. If we imported, from, say, for example, from Japan or Thailand or other countries, the one is the CO2 happens over there in those countries. The second is in India, it doesn't get counted in the scope and emissions of the cement. The other is there is a arbitrage in the GST which is there. So we have one single GST rate, which is there for all types of the cement. Whereas there are few cements, which are really low carbon. So the slag cement and the PPC and the other blended cement. Some of the cement and it is not very difficult to do that because once we start monitoring and measuring the CO2, we can have different types of the GST structures, and give some benefits and the incentives for the low carbon products which are there. MOEF can play a role in that, and the other the government agencies, they can work with the Ministry of Finance to work out a policy, for a lower GST. Carbon pricing is another thing, which we don't have in India. So if you look at it, the why there is so much of the pressure and so much more steps, which are taken in the northern America and European countries, is because they have the carbon pricing. So there are incentives, for if you have low carbon emissions, and there are penalties, huge penalties, if you have the higher carbon emissions in the manufacturing. So I think carbon pricing has to be brought into in India also, and the carrot and the stick, should be there for the manufacturing companies, depending upon how much carbon they are putting into the atmosphere. Sustainable procurement by government for government projects by Government of India. That is what I was talking about. We have recently done a technical paper along with NCCBM for the Government of India on that. The other is the standards in India. I think the pace at which the monitoring and the control on the carbon emission has to be done. The standards in India, they are not evolving at the same speed. I think we need to really fasten that thing, have new cement products, low carbon cement products, new standards into India, so that the manufacturing companies, can comply to those standards. And then the buyers also, they understand the benefits and take advantage of it. So these are the things these are some of the things, whatever came to my mind. But I think it's a challenging thing. It's a challenge. It is something, which has to be done with a lot of collaboration with the academic institutes, with the industrial partners, with the government bodies, various government bodies. And the collaboration is the key. For India, I think in India, we have taken steps and we are on the right track. It is just that, if we have to shorten the time period and move much faster, the collaboration with all these stakeholders, that is the answer, to solve it. Putting the incentive structures in place, the academic institutions, working on the more research and development work, industrial partners, adopting that with these standards, the BIS, NCCBM and others. So all that has to be done. And I'm sure, we can achieve it, better and faster than any other nation in the world, in our journey to net zero. So that's it from my side, Mr. Sao. I don't know what's the format, but I'm happy to take questions, or we can do it later on, at the end of the session. Yeah.
Okay. We will take question answer at the end.
Okay.
That is better. Thank you, Rastogi, for a good briefing in all the overall operation of cement industry and whatever the upgradation is going on. Now I invite Engineer Ashwani Pahuja, sir. First, I will introduce him. Very brief introduction. Sri Ashwani Pahuja has been associated with the cement sector in India for last 42 years. He has led the National Council of Cement and Building Material, NCCBM, a government organization, as its Director General from 2010 to 2017. Currently, he leads the sustainability action at Dalmia Cement Limited as the Chief Sustainability Officer and Executive Director. Dalmia Cement is well recognized globally for its lowest carbon footprint cement, water positive operations, and bold ambitions of becoming carbon negative by 2040. He is leading the development and implementation of net zero carbon business model of Dalmia Cements, which is the first of its kind in global cement fraternity. He is starting various sustainability and climate mitigation actions such as reducing the carbon footprint through new products and technology, advancement materials, circularity, utilization of waste, alternate green fuels, including industrial waste and biomass, low carbon technologies and products, technology landscape for carbon dioxide capture and utilization. So with this brief introduction, I invite Engineer Ashwani Pahuja, sir, for your kind presentation, sir, and discussion.
Thank you, Sauji, for a very nice introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. How much time do you think I should take for?
Sir, you are having plenty of time. Minimum 20 minutes is there.
20 minutes. Fine. That should be fine. I would like
we
to,
would like to
make
listen
some
you, sir.
slide presentation if I can share my.
Yeah, that can be done. Sharmaji, just allow sir to host.
Sir.
Just allow him to share the presentation.
Share, sir. Ashwini sir, now you can share your screen, sir.
Thank you. Are the slides visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Cement, as my earnest colleague Mr. Rastogi also mentioned, that cement is considered to be a hard to abate sector because of the process emissions that are there on account of calcination of limestone, which accounts for nearly 50 to 55% of the total carbon dioxide emissions from a cement industry. Rest of the emissions, which are around 30 to 35% on account of combustion of fossil fuels, and 8 to 10% on account of electricity consumption, 2 to 5% on account of other scope 3 emissions, including vehicular equipment as well as liquid fossil fuels consumption in various auxiliaries. So it is essentially all these areas which need to be abated in order to decarbonize the cement sector. Now, when we talk of clean and green technology initiatives for cement sector, the main what we can call is the main actions or the main levers for reducing the carbon footprint for the electrical energy consumption. Apart from improving the energy efficiency of the equipments for bringing down the power consumption, then we have switching over to renewable power, and also at the same time utilizing the waste heat available for power generation from the preheater as well as from the cooler stack gases. And also there is a substantial potential through optimization of energy through digitization as well as Industry 4.0. Now the thermal energy consumption, which accounts for nearly 30 to 35% of the total carbon footprint. Apart from improving the heat efficiency through efficient pyro technologies, the alternative fuels or the green fuels, and also coupled with sustainable biomass are the main levers which can be used for substantially substituting the fossil fuels with carbon neutral fuels. Again, optimization through digitization as well as Industry 4.0 can reduce significantly the heat consumption. Then for decarbonization, the other measures which are under development include heat electrification, that is switching over to electrical sintering in place of fossil fuel use, or use of green hydrogen as a fuel substitution, or alternately use of direct solar for calcination as well as clinkerization. All these three are under development and under various stages of development at various academic as well as various machinery manufacturers. And it is generally being projected by some of the machinery manufacturers that by 2027, some of these technologies may see the light of the day for decarbonizing the thermal part of the cement manufacture. Now coming to supplementary cementitious materials, India is one of the largest consumers of industrial waste, wherein we utilize more than around 80 million tons of total industrial waste on an industry basis, which includes fly ash, blast furnace slag, and also other industrial wastes in small quantities like lead zinc slag or copper slag, etc., as performance improvers, and also limestone as a performance improver. Now that calcined clay also, as Mr. Rastogi also mentioned, that it is now so far calcined clay, though it is mentioned in the standard, so far it was not popular, but now with the new proposed launch of the LC3 cement, which has a substantially reduced carbon footprint, calcined clay also is going to become an important supplementary cementitious material in the coming years. Now about the process emissions that is emitted out of the calcination of the raw materials, carbon capture and storage or utilization is the main application. Apart from that, development of newer novel cements which do not utilize carbon bearing raw materials like calcium silicates, etc., can become possible source of reducing process emissions. But again, the availability of these raw materials which are non-carbonaceous in nature are generally very limited. So it is believed that these may not replace more than 10 to 20% of the total cement manufactured globally. So essentially, the cement manufacturer has to depend on carbon capture and storage or carbon capture and utilization. Now for vehicular emission, again, the possibilities have already become available. The EV electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles are also becoming gradually available. And India also has a very encouraging policy of switching over to electrical vehicles. So these technologies are going to see the light of the day very soon. And some of these places, so at least for light commercial vehicles as well as for passenger vehicles, these are already becoming available. Now coming to scope 2 emissions, which can be reduced by use of renewable electricity. And coming to scope 3 emissions, there again, we know that recarbonation of the concrete absorbs considerable amount of carbon dioxide. There are various publications and research is going on. So it is believed that there will be very soon some protocol for accounting for recarbonation as a carbon decarbonization measure. And then apart from that, offsetting various business travels, etc., or green procurements can bring in reduction in the scope 3 emissions. So essentially, the cement sustainability will incorporate new fuels and technologies, that is coming to sustainable biomass, that is through energy plantation or sustainable plantation of agro produces, apart from various agricultural residues, green hydrogen, heat electrification, solar drying, solar calcination, etc. are the possible applications. Renewable is going to be, in India, we are going ahead with the renewable power in a very big way. So this is very much a possibility for complete switch over to renewable power by the cement industry in the near future. Novel cements, again, various developments are being taken up, and NCCBM also is working on various cement technologies which can reduce the new products which can reduce the carbon footprint of the cement. And carbon capture and utilization, again, know-how is being developed. There are some pilots which are already in place, and large demonstration are likely in the near future. Now, as I mentioned, that what makes the cement hard to abate sector is the process emissions for which we need carbon capture and utilization. For that, the essential requirement is that the carbon dioxide, which is actually emitting out of the flue gases or the stack gases, we are developing technologies, or the industries are developing technologies wherein this CO2, which is at present being emitted to the atmosphere, these can be captured and then these can be utilized as raw material for making certain useful materials, for which various disruptive innovations are needed, and various organizations are working already. Some pilots have been developed. We are aware that some industries have started making products like soda ash out of the captured carbon dioxide from power plant gases. So similar can be done for the cement industry also. Similarly, then there are various other possibilities where carbon dioxide can be utilized as a raw material. Various technologies which are available commercially include amine-based capture or amine plus salt-based capture. On various technologies where work is going on include ammonia-based capture, calcium looping, cryogenic, direct air capture. Also, there are a number of pilots already in place, and then only it's a question of scaling up. Direct calcination, again, in a small way, these technologies have become available. Again, it's a question of scaling up of these technologies. And then various other technologies like membrane separation is again under development, and this technology shows potential. For cement industry applications, oxy-fuel combustion can be a very good potential area, for which again the machinery manufacturers have already developed the designs, and maybe in the coming few years we can see these technologies can see the light of the day. Now, various possibilities of utilization of carbon dioxide as a raw material include in fuels and chemicals, in fertilizers, as well as in food items, and also for mineralization. Various possibilities like plastics, conversion to methane and methanol, or synthetic gases, synthesis of gases, are the various possibilities for use as fuels and chemicals. Even plastics and polycarbonates can be manufactured, which are being developed at laboratory scale, and some of are under a pilot stage demonstration. Similarly, fertilizers like urea, renewable urea, or again items like commodities like carbon fiber or activated carbon are the possibilities. CO2 is already being used in the beverage industry and dry ice manufacturing industry, where it is being used as a raw material. So we can further purify carbon dioxide and use it as a raw material for these industries. Again, there are research going on where this carbon dioxide can be captured. Carbon dioxide can be used to convert into proteins, into carbohydrates, as well as either a direct synthesis or through algae production. And lastly, the most important is for cement industry that carbon dioxide can be absorbed or as a permanently stored in concrete through a mineralization process, and the carbon dioxide can also be stored in aggregates again as a mineralization activity. However, you see these technologies are very expensive because of the extensive energy required for capture of carbon dioxide and then separation of carbon dioxide from the flue gases. And now that the renewable energy is becoming cheaper and cheaper over the years, it is believed that these technologies will become more and more viable economically. Technical viability has been already established for these carbon capture technologies. But what is now needed is incentivizing these technologies, development of proper policies for clean climate and circular economy, which can include polluter to pay principles and avoiding landfill taxes, government grants for taking the risk and sharing the risk of such energy intensive carbon capture and utilization technologies. For again, for carbon capture and other deep decarbonization technologies, what is actually needed is enabling policies for renewable energy as well as for carbon capture and utilization or storage technologies. Cogeneration facilities, again, there is a need that these can be incentivized by treating them as at par with renewable energy. For sustainable biomass plantation, we need to provide facilities for utilizing the wastelands which are available in the country for agroforestry of these type of sustainable biomass which can be used as alternative fuel. Here I would like to mention that in India, more than close to 100 million hectares of wastelands are available. And very recently, on 15th of August this year, our Honorable Prime Minister had announced that the MOEFCC is going to make available nearly 26 million hectares of wastelands for agriculture sector, where we believe that some of this land can be also utilized for sustainable biomass plantation. So there is a lot of potential for generation of sustainable biomass, which can be used as a heat replacement for petcoke or coal, not only by the cement industry, but also all other industries which use thermal energy. Polluter to pay policies are essential for increased use of waste in the country, and clean technology transfer from developed nations to developing countries also is very important. And development of international carbon markets, similar to the earlier clean technologies, are also very essential for incentivizing and also for transfer of these technologies to developing countries like India. And then various countries have come out with enabling policies where they will pay certain incentives for carbon capture and utilization. For example, in US, the 45Q technology pays an incentive around $35 per ton of carbon dioxide for carbon capture and utilization, and nearly $50 per ton of carbon dioxide for carbon capture and storage. In Europe also there are similar policies. So we believe that sooner or later these type of enabling policies should also come into countries like India for enabling deep decarbonization of the heavy industries like cement, steel, and also maybe power also. And lastly, green public procurement policies are also very essential. For example, for the blended cements like PPC or PSC or composite cements, the government procurement should encourage these type of blended cements which have got very low carbon footprint compared to conventional OPC. Now, as we know that Indian cement sector is already one of the best in terms of lowest energy consumption, which has been certified by CSI, the then CSI, where through GNR they have established that today on the whole, the average cement industry energy consumption is lowest in the world. Apart from that, Indian cement industry also has average lowest carbon footprints again globally, and also one of the largest consumers of industrial waste. And on waste heat recovery, again, nearly 520 megawatt of waste heat recovery is already taking place in the cement industry, which consumes no fossil fuel. So these are the parameters where we should be really proud of the Indian cement sector, and we believe that the Indian cement industry is really at a stage where we can now start big efforts for decarbonization of the industry on a large scale. Now at Dalmia Cement, I would like to share what we are doing at Dalmia Cements. Dalmia Cement is a very old cement company, and it was the first cement plant of Dalmia Cement was installed in 1940s. So it is more than 80-year-old company. And today the company has a installed capacity of nearly 33 million tons. And the company has we are planning to go in for nearly 50 million ton capacity by 2025. And plans are already approved for enhancing our capacity to around 130 million tons by 2030. Our business philosophy is that clean and green is profitable and sustainable. And I'll show you through our slides how we have actually achieved that our sustainability actions have also become profitable at the same time. For moving from grey to green, we have been taking actions for the last about more than a decade in a big way. As a result, we became the lowest carbon footprint companies, and also we achieved rank 1 from the CDP, that is Carbon Disclosure Project, on our low carbon transition journey. The various levers which we have taken after that, what we have done is that during 2018, we had announced that when we became CDP rank number 1, that then we had taken the challenge of becoming carbon negative by 2040. And we became the first cement company across the globe to have taken this challenge of becoming carbon neutral and carbon negative. And after that, many companies have followed suit. And today, in 2021, even GCCA, which represents nearly 50% of the world global cement capacity, have taken up the challenge of becoming carbon neutral by 2050. So we are very happy and satisfied that our action of announcing carbon neutrality goal by 2040, which we took way back in 2018, has actually acted as a catalyst, and then other plants have also followed suit for replicating this. The main levers which we have taken up for our carbon neutrality challenge include improving in energy efficiency and improving our resource efficiency through circular economy concept for increasing the utilization of various industrial wastes, as well as various alternative fuels. Then particularly going ahead with the main decarbonization technologies for deep decarbonization, we have taken up the challenge of becoming RE100. That is, we have taken the challenge by 2030. We will be switching over entirely to renewable energy, and we'll stop all our captive thermal power plants. And also we'll stop taking thermal power from the grid at the same time. We also have a challenge of switching over to 100% fossil fuel replacement by 2035. That will be through a combination of sustainable biomass as well as various industrial wastes, including municipal solid waste, gasification, and various other carbon neutral industrial fuels. And lastly, going in for carbon capture and utilization. And as and when these technologies for green hydrogen, solar calcination, heat electrification, and other various novel cements become available, we have a plan to switch over as an early mover for adaptation of these technologies. Now, in line with the nationally determined contributions, we have also at Dalmia Cements developed our own DDCs, that is Dalmia Determined Contributions, for switching over from grey to green. So this graph shows our roadmap up to 2040. We have already achieved more than 40% reduction in our carbon footprint since 1990. The target in 2018, the target which we had fixed to become carbon negative by -30 by 2040. For that, the target for 2020 was 546, and today we are ahead of our target. And today, our in 2021, our carbon footprint is 492 kg CO2 per ton of cement. And the various levers include 100% blended cement production by 2025, use of 100% renewable power by 2030, use of renewable biomass, as well as carbon neutral fuels by 2035. EV rate commitment also we have taken to be implemented by 2030. Development of carbon sinks or going in for carbon sequestration, and adoption of carbon capture and utilization. These two challenges to be completed by 2040. Now today, as on 2020 or FY21, the global cement sector is at 700 to 800 kg per ton of CO2, whereas our cement company stands at 492. So that's the reason that we believe that while rest of the industry has taken the challenge of becoming carbon neutral by 2050, and China has taken a challenge by 2060. At Dalmia Cements, because we are much ahead of the curve of the global as global sector, we have been able to accelerate our target to 2040 to become carbon neutral by 2040. What green manufacturing means to us at Dalmia Cements include various commitments, including transparency, leadership by commitment, leadership by action, leadership by engagement with various organizations, and enhancement and diversification. On transparency, as I mentioned, that we have been ranked number 1. We have been reporting our disclosures in the public media, in the public domain, and based on that, we have been ranked number 1 in global cement sector. We are the first cement company again in India to have started integrated reporting in Indian cement sector, and our GHG emissions are calculated as per WBCSD protocol. We are voluntarily participating in ESG disclosures and also carrying out establishing all our data through third-party assurance. On leadership by commitment, our commitment is very much in the public domain, even in the COP meetings as well as in United Nations General Assembly. We have publicly announced our commitment to become carbon negative by 2040. And our businesses are allowed to align to the 1.5 degree scenario as well as sustainable development goals. On leadership, we are supporting climate action of 26 business leaders. We have reduced our carbon footprint by 40% since 1990. We are the first triple joiner globally amongst the heavy industry of RE100, EP100, and EV100. We are part of the leadership group of industry transition as well as the Alliance of CEO climate leaders. We have very recently joined the First Movers Coalition, wherein we have taken a commitment that we will be procuring only green materials as and when these green materials become available for all our activities, manufacturing activities. And we are member of various leading platforms such as Energy Transition Commission, Mission Possible Activities, UNGC, and 1.5 degree emission, etc. Talking about leadership by engagement, we Dalmia Cement has been made a member of COP20. We have been identified as a COP26 business leader. Our CEO is the director also of the Cement and Concrete Association, GCCA, as well as of World Cement Association, where we are taking active part in various activities for deep decarbonization of the industry. Commissioner of Energy Transition Commission, Chairman of GCCA India, etc., and various other activities. Now, these are our main waste utilization activities. We have tons of red mud, 30 kilotons of blue metal, etc. As a result of this, our clinker factor is again one of the lowest in the industry, one of the lowest. We are at 60.7%, whereas the global average is around 77% clinker factor. We are also 12.4 times water positive today, and we intend to become 20 times water positive by 2025. We are also generating 21 megawatt of power from waste heat, and we are very shortly in next 2 years going to increase it to 71 megawatt of waste heat recovery. On water footprint, I mentioned that we are already become 12.4 times water positive by 2021. And on clinker factor, again, we have a target to move to clinker factor of 0.51 by the year 2040 from the present around 0.61 today in 21, and in 2020 we were at 0.63. So while I think these we have already explained, in terms of when I said that clean and green is profitable and sustainable, I would like to explain it through this data. This is a performance of our last 10 years, wherein we have increased our capacity by 3 times and revenue by 6 times, EBITDA increased by 7 times, and the various sustainability actions which we have just explained. Despite taking those sustainability actions, wherein our GHG emissions reduced by 22% in the last decade, despite taking actions for sustainability and reduction in GHG emissions, this enhancement in our revenue and EBITDA is reflecting of the fact that being clean and green is also profitable and sustainable at the same time. We are collaborating with various organizations across the globe for achieving the objectives which we have just explained, and then these have really helped us in enhancing our mission for becoming carbon neutral and negative by 2040. Our efforts have also been globally recognized by various international players. For example, the UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, mentioned that companies such as Dalmia Cement and Mahindra are driving innovation, and we need many more to join them. Mr. Alok Sharma, the Honorable President of COP26, mentioned that global companies such as Apple, Dalmia Cement, and Movida have made net zero commitments. And I'm enormously grateful to those who have come forward with announcements today. And then Minister of Environment, Shri Prakash Javadekar, also mentioned that Dalmia Cement, he mentioned in 2019 about the one of the lowest carbon emitting companies globally, and going ahead with the plan of carbon capture and use. Now, I would like to say that making transition to becoming carbon negative company means thinking not only about today, tomorrow, or next year, but also for the future generations. And we will not only safeguard the interests of our current stakeholders, but also those of the future. Because ultimately, we have to convert our sector from grey to green and from hard to abate to possible to abate, so as to convert the cement as sustainable and climatic friendly product. And also achieving this, we'll have to convert to climate risk. We'll have to take climate risk into opportunities. That is the most important challenge for us today. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Faiza sir, for sharing in detail roadmap for minimization of carbon print. Now, Sharmaji, I invite our third speaker. He has joined or not?
Yes, we have joined.
Sharmaji?
Yes, sir,
Oh,
I've joined.
oh, thank you, sir. Good
And I'm listening
afternoon.
all the presentation also very carefully.
Okay. Welcome, sir. Dear friends, we are having Dr. Mahapatra ji. So I will brief first, then I will welcome him for his presentation, panel discussion. Dr. Patra has done MSc in chemistry, PhD in cement mineral chemistry. He is having more than 33 years of experience, worked as a head of the department in quality control, quality assurance, research and development, environmental, new product development, and product quality management. Worked with Dalmia Institute of Scientific and Industrial Research, Odisha, OCL India Limited, Dalmia Group, Vikram Cement Work, a unit of Ultratech Cement Limited, Aditya Birla Group, and Ambuja Cement Limited. So he is having a lot of experience in the field. Now I invite you, sir, for the the panel discussion. Yeah, Mahapatra, sir. Please.
Thank you, Sahu Sahab. Also, you allow me one small presentation also I am having with me. I should
Yes,
also see the
definitely.
presentation. But before that, actually, my regards to all the panelists, respected panelists Manoj Rastogi ji and Ashwini Pahuja Sahab, and also other people are already there. So already you have heard a lot of things from them because they are the pioneers in doing the things. The Dalmia Cements, you have already heard that. I am audible, sir? Sahu
Yeah,
sir?
yeah.
Okay. So already you have heard all the technical aspects from these two leading industries, and Dalmia is also doing exceptionally well. And that's why COP26 has declared business leader. And our Mahendra Singhi, with our chairman also of NCCBMs earlier, he has also guided us in the many aspects. And also to Ashwini Pahuja, also the ex-DG of our NCCBMs, and at the same time, with the Chief Sustainability Officer of Dalmia Cement Limited, they are doing a lot of things in all the other different directions. So I am grateful to them. And I want to declare that in India stands 117 ranks among 196 in the world in the implementing UN objectives for sustainable development goals. But dear friends, you have heard a lot of things from India. I'd like to throw the presentation of the Ashwini Pahuja sir and also Manoj Rastogi sir. Why your rank is so bad in that? So in the today's, I am at Hyderabad available today. So just now, just before 10 minutes, one team has already come to us. Manoj P.T. Chaudhary, outside that is the president of the UNA, and Joy Ramalo, secretary of the UNA, opined that India should be the leader in implementation and development of different technologies for reduction of carbon dioxide emissions, and also to be a leader in the sustainable development goals. And he has also declared that our rank in 117 should be reduced to 10 within this 2 to 3 years, what he has already committed to our Prime Minister also. You heard a lot of things from the leaders of our India. It is not an impossible task. But thing is that NCCBM should also play a very important role in this exercise. As because NCCBMs can coordinate with government bodies, that industries, BIS, and institutions. So this is the prime time how to expedite these things, how to coordinate with the industries and also government bodies. Yesterday, you will be happy to know that the Additional Secretary, Mr. Anil Agrawal, who is looking after the cement now, he was present in this Hyderabad units, and he spent about 2 hours time connected to listening to the industries. A lot of thoughts come from the industries, how government will support. So the things which are declared, today discussion by Manoj Rastogi ji and Ashwini Pahuja ji. So many aspects are there, which can be institutionalized by Government of India, and NCCBM should take a prime role in connecting with all these bodies. And Mr. Additional Secretary Anil Agrawal also told yesterday that I should be properly utilized to connect between the industries and also the Government of India. So he took this responsibility to me. You coordinate, and also it is all doable, not impossible in India. Only thing is that interaction among these things is very poor, how to connect it. So NCCBM also during this period has played a very important role in connecting, and also we are having the 22 expertise teams where all the expertise teams is also there. And also we are also aligned our expert activities with the industries. Now, seeing the presentation of Mr. Ashwini Pahuja ji, what the marvelous work they are doing it. And we are very happy to know that Mahendra Singh is the business leader of COP26 declared, and also he is the several entities, and also he is the business leader of GCC also. So also whatever Manoj Rastogi is telling that, what the report about GCCA, GCCA, along with the NCCBMs and all the industry experts like JSW and Dalmia and also IIT Madras, has already prepared a very good report on the blended cement utilized in the industries. For that, actually, they are going to invite our Additional Secretary, Mr. Anil Agrawal, on 23rd of this month, and we are also taking a part for that. So after it may be released by the ministry, along with all other communities, NHI and other users, and in a meticulous way, and also all the industry will be present there. So this is also the progress of the GCCA reports already prepared by the industries and also IITs. And NCCBM took a prime role in preparing this report. 100% utilization blended cement in all the government sectors. So no doubt that function will be also, we have to connect with all the government bodies, those are users, how to make it 100% 100% blended cement. At the same time, India is blessed with the supplementary materials. We are having slags, we are having fly ash, we are having limestones, and so many industrial waste, which is a values. The materials which is considered as waste material, now it is considered the byproduct after some product. Slag once upon a time it was not utilized by the cement industries. Now you can see that slag cost is more than the clinker cost. So who has converted it? Your research institutes and also the industries. Because it is intrinsic values. Now customer wants, if you can give the slag more than 55%, it is a durable product, we can take it. Similarly, fly ash also. Once upon a time, people have not utilized fly ash. So this thermal purple fly ash generating about 200 million tons of fly ash, already utilized by cement industries. Recently, you can see that because Odisha is surplus of fly ash, there is already 14 units that come in Odisha. Those who are already consumed 19 million tons out of 22 million tons. So cement industry has potential to support the carbon dioxide emission. Although it is generating, at the same time, it is also supporting all the industries to digest and assimilate the waste in making the product a valuable product. That's why we are going to have a seminar also, Waste to Wealth. That's a request has come from the United Nations now to conduct these programs. So also, I think I would just have some small presentation, I can show it, because most of the things have been covered by the two presenters. So moreover by the Ashwini Pahujaji's presentation and also Manoj Rastogi. So please allow me one presentation, I can show it, so that during the presentation we can also cover it, most of the things. So already stated that as per the IEA estimate, global cement sector generates 7% of the total anthropogenic emissions cement industry, and CO2 emission factor from 1.12 per carbon dioxide per ton of the cement 1996. Now it is reduced 0.670 by 2017. Still it is further lower, because now the blended cement percentage has been converted. We are making 25% blended cement, but now it is just reverse. We are making now 72% blended cement, when the value of the material has already come, and also durability aspect is approved. Now we are going the standard changes for 25% to 70% slag, 15% to 35% fly ash, and so many other standards is coming. No doubt, Manoj Rastogi has also explained in his presentation, because in India, making a standard makes time. Composite cement takes 15 years to 20 years time. By that time, all the resources exploited. But now I can declare it that NCCBM is taking a prime role and in developing the products and also getting it approved by the BIS. We are directly interacting with the Bureau of Indian Standard Committees. So also it is also told by our additional secretary, who is also looking after the consumer affairs. So how to get the thing expedited so that we can go up to 10 positions in the sustainability goals. When India is having all the materials, all the intellectuals, and all the possibilities, and why not India will rank? Why India will rank 117? When all the potential is there, you can know from the presentation of our Mr. Ashwini Pahuja. What you are the great leader. Mr. Mahendra Singh was declared the great leader in the COP 26. And so many potential people are there in India, we can only unite, only connectivity. So that actually NCCBM has already formed 22 expertise group. And for this total contribution to the CO2 reductions, so these direct groups and work new clinker system, low carbon cement, high temperature technologies, and advanced alternate fuel and raw materials, and so many likes the geopolymer concrete durability microstructure properties. So NCCBMs also working with the industries, top industries, because all the industries having the high class R&D facilities. But earlier the connectivity, now we're improving it, how to work together because if we only rely on the NCCM results, the standard takes time. But we have declared now we are working with all the leading R&D institutes to have the more generation data and validations by the NCCM so that standard will come within 2 to 3 years. So that will definitely help the India to utilize all the materials within the certain time. And also we can definitely achieve the target by 0.35 tons of carbon dioxide emission by 2050. Babuji already explained hard to avoid sector, but there is a ways how to make it. Already explained by him also calcination of limestones. So our thinking and innovation to be there. How to make the clinker without limestones? How to make the clinker without the fossil fuels? Similarly, fuel consumption you see 30 to 35% reduction is there, and electricity 8 to 10%, and other vehicular and equipments 2.5%. Here the slides you can see it. What are the potentials are there of the reduction of carbon dioxide emissions in every parameters, in every levers? Limestone. Limestone is the highly potential material which generates carbon dioxide by the calcination of calcium carbonate. So the existing clinker factor, if you can reduce with the cement by making blended cement, where the less clinker will be utilized, so that is a great driver to reduction of carbon dioxide emissions. So also, the clinker with the less limestone content, that the new clinker also we have, NCCM is also going to formulate it. The new clinkers, that also in the second slide I will show it, that with the utilization alternate raw materials, low grade limestones, with the potential of the reduction temperature also by 200 degrees centigrade, and that will give you the greatest parameter for the reduction carbon dioxide emissions. Since last 60 years, we have not changed the clinker chemistry. We are already consumed all high grade limestones and also the coal of high grade coals. But the research is come now because we are not getting the problems. So in the abroad, in the developed country, the research would have been done for 30 years before. Anyhow, that is the time is still there. We are now connectivity is there. We can make this clinker faster and get the approval, and also we can working in the similar way. So the BIS and industries and government of India should take this work further in the higher speed. Cement. With this clinker contribution, by utilizing of all the type of lime slags, slag is not available. All converted slag generated will be utilized successfully in making blended cement, which is a very, very high value of the durability and sustainability. At the same time, fly ash, 222 materials already about consumptions. Now we are going to coarse fly ash and also going to LD slag because the slag is not there, which is LD slag. Similarly, so if the research is going in that aspects, if you can utilize all the industrial waste, making it a product, not byproduct. During this last 2 months' time, we will be happy to know that NITI Aayog has identified and given this task to the NCCBMs to be the leaders and making the reports for the circular economy in gypsums, phosphor gypsums, FGD gypsums, and also we have been appreciated by NITI Aayog and also DPIIT for taking a highest role in making the standard formulations. So by this type of doing the things by NCCBMs, also it is a good recognition by the Bureau of Indian Standards how to get the formulation standards in both cement and concrete. So also C&D West utilizations in the NITI Aayog has also selected and nominated us as the chairman of the C&D West, and also do the good work there also. Just 2 days before, we got a call from NITI Aayog how to make a formulation for the RDF, because the most potential material is available now in the to be utilized. Alternate material is refuse derived fuel segregated from municipal solid waste. But how to make a report for that RDF, because some compulsion may be there, at the same time some also alluring schemes would be there, Government of India. So for that actually NCCBM is already selected, and also we are working how to, because already the foreign countries polluter principle exist, but in India it is not, has not come. That's the cement industry all doing the things to the fuller extent possible. But if the Government of India supports in this direction, also we can do more. But now NCCBM will take a pioneer role in connecting the Government of India in all that type of aspects of the project also. Concrete. With less amount of the cement, if the concrete can be made with the use of the super plasticizers, then also cement consumption less and make the good concrete. And so also building materials. So carbon dioxide release, which is required for the carbonations of the building materials for the getting the strength. If this carbon dioxide can be utilized, all the carbon dioxide released from the limestone burning If that can be utilized in the building material for the curing, so the circular economy also can be fulfilled. So roadmap has already been made, the CSI in 2013 that is going to be modified also. For this actually, this GCC report will definitely help, which has been by the leading industries and also IITs and NCCM have made it. And also this will be going to release, I think, into the next month after getting the suitable time to the additional secretary and also connecting other government agencies. Next. So these are the potential drivers. Already discussed so many things. Substitution of clinker. We are doing in India. Our clinker factor is less. Still it will be less because so many research is also going on for the development of the new product like Portland limestone cement and Portland dolomite cement, Portland composite cement. And we are going in a very faster speed. Within 2 to 3 years, the standard will come. Alternate fuel and raw materials. Already inventorize all materials as a fuel and raw materials. All industries doing well. At the same time, if our NCCBM R&D will definitely support the industries, then it will also be multifold. The speed will be also faster rate. Waste heat recovery, improving energy efficiency, and the new technologies, renewable energy, novel cement, carbon capture and storage and utilization. This, but all fast 4 levers have already been implemented by the cement industry, and it will only expedite further. And the impact has already been reflected in the reduction of CO2 emission from the cement industry. And we are now connecting all these new technologies, taking the experts from abroad also at the same time for renewable energy, novel cement and carbon capture. For this actually one expertise team we are having, that is institutional linkage and networking. During this 1 year time, we have already connected about 6 IITs and 10 NITs and making the MOUs, all the working together. NCCBMs, industries, institutes. So this is the direct CO2 emissions drivers are there, alternative fuels, energy efficiency, clinker substitution, and carbon sequestrations. These are the drivers are there. Out of this, you can see it. The clinker substitution has the greatest potential to reduce the carbon dioxide emissions. Next. So already these are the products already approved by the Bureau of Indian Standard. Out of this, now India is utilizing PPC, Portland Pozzolana cement. Already 35% fly ash are already been utilized as per the standards. Then NCCBM is doing further work by how to utilize 40% fly ash. At the same time, durability also to be proved for the carbon carbon dioxide emission levels. Second is that actually we are going for the development of product of fly ash and also limestone cement and calcined clay cement. Already it is there. Now it is being modified by the LC3 cement, and it is developed by IITs and also going to be making a standard also. And all these standards are there. Now our aim is there how to add about 4 types of cement within this 2 to 3 years time. That is Portland limestone cement, Portland dolomite cement. Next slide, it is there. So already this 17 figure is that not updated. We are now producing more than 75% blended cement now. Next. So this is the most important slides. Portland limestone cement, the research is already in the final stage. All the cement properties and concrete properties are proved. We have already submitted the report to the BIS. We are submitting it very near future. So after getting the comment for the CD committee, this standard also be put through, so that in this case, limestone up to 15% can be utilized in the directly the clinker. Then second is dolomite cement. This is another thing is that dolomite, which is now waste in the cement industry. It has been seen that dolomite is also highly good value for the as a when it utilizes supplementary material. That research is already in the final stage. Portland dolomite cement. If the this standard is coming, then people can utilize the presently waste of the limestone mines to a fruitful product. That Portland dolomite cement. And one Portland composite cement that fly as a limestone, because in the composite cement which is already there, that is the basis of the fly ash and the slag. But all the industries are not benefited, but the slag is not available everywhere. So for that, NCCBM has already done a work. It is also in the final stage. After January, we are going to submit the report on the 2 BIS, that is fly ash and limestone composite cement, for which actually 120 composition we have already made, and also it is concrete testing is going on, so that this standard will definitely help to utilize fly ash and limestone altogether for the clinker factor reductions, and those who are not having the slag in their periphery. Then second, the last is fly ash and slag, composite cement plus fly ash and slag is already there. Some issue is there, that is also being solved by the NCCBMs in near future. LC3 cement, again the calcination clay is a very critical things is there. However, NCCBM is also having a team of high temperature technologies team for which NCCBM can do the research and also educate our clay deposits, how to, in which temperature they should also calcine it so that they will get the cementing properties. For that, one group is already there. We are also keen to work on these aspects. Geopolymer cement, already cement is developed, concrete is going to develop also, and multi-component blended cement, because in European standards, they are using more than 5 materials in the composite cement. In the similar manner, NCCBM has also characterized marble dust and all industrial waste, how to make the multi-component blended cement so that industry can get the benefit and also it will reduce the carbon dioxide emission. Any other material having cementing material also can be utilized more than 3 components. The clinker, which I was telling about, the clinker, conventional clinker having C3S, C2S, C3S, C4F, it is highly energizing and energy consuming and the heat consumptions. So we have already developed a product in laboratory scale. It is already produced and we are going to the pilot plant scale. Thereafter, we'll take the support of all the industries, how to make it commercial grades, because there we can take the support of instrumentation, mechanical, and also mining people, and also chemistry people, all the people of the expert from the industry, we can take the support. Then we can go for the commercial trial in the plants. And where you can see it, this temperature can be reduced directly by 200 degrees centigrade and utilize some low grade limestones, about 15%. And industrial waste also can be utilized in this product, because you know that Jarosite is a product of the Jarosite, where both the iron and sulfate both are there. So if this is there, it cannot be utilized directly in cement, but that can be utilized in the clinker, for making the clinker as a raw material, so that industrial waste like red mud, wollastonite, Jarosite, all can be utilized as industrial waste. Red mud, now people are using up to certain extent 2 to 4% in the cement as a raw mix component. But now NCCBM is doing the research how to make the pozzolanic activity of the red mud, which is available, and it can be utilized up to 15 to 20% after getting the standards. So research is already in the pipeline, and already we are doing the things how to make the pozzolanicity activity of red mud. Similarly, carbon dioxide emission, you can see it after production of this type of clinker, there is a direct reduction 20 to 30% of CO2 emissions from the clinkers. Alternate fuel and alternate materials. In this aspect also, now yesterday also there is a lot of talks from the industry came in the South plan, and they directly asked this question to the additional secretary here, and they want that, sir, we are using so many types of material, hazardous waste and other materials, but we are not being compensated, and at the same time how to get the benefit. There also polluter principle also come, and Donil Agrawal is proactively told you to take all the things minuted here in the Hyderabad office, and also you will take this thing proactively and get the solution, because you will take the role. Either take the role between the ministry and also at the same time the industries, and NCCBM will take the also pioneer role. So although our TSR is 4% now, but other countries are doing more than 60%. But due to the high volume in India, we cannot tell it is a very low, it is not doing well. But however, it is equivalent to 100% Australia, 50% in France, and 16% in South Korea. Next. So already we have inventorized all materials of the industries, Indian cement industries, all alternate fuels like RDF, plastic waste, carbon black, all these things. You see it. Once upon a time, I just recall that time in Vikram Cement in 2010, that time RDF plant was already installed by Ultratech in Langiriya, Jaipur. But the problem was that how the municipal sewage can be utilized from Rajasthan to MP, there is a conflict. But I took the pioneering role there by that time with the chairman of the pollution board, Mr. Professor Gautam, and we get the approval for the utilize the RDF, because it is not a hazardous waste as considered in foreign country. It is a non-hazardous waste. So we got the approval for the RDF to utilize the cement industry, but that time it was not feasible. But now we see that now people are using RDF up to 15 to 20%. So that means research till it may not be feasible. After 15 years, it will be feasible. So research should be done much before to make it. India should not face the problem of the scarcity is there. So for that, NCCBM plays a very important role to do all research lively and get the standards. When it is feasible, people can utilize it. Similarly, all other material you can see it. Already we have taken the inventory of all the materials, paint slots, PP, benzofuran, also powders is also explained so many things. I'm not repeating it. Next. FMCG product, spent solvent. These all of the materials can be utilized in the cement industry as alternate fuel. And other materials, you have already know the fly ash and slag, copper slag, all the slags, whether it has been already characterized. Some of the copper slag, lead zinc slag already utilized as a performance improver in OPC, being on the basis of the study of NCCBM. And also further also NCCBM doing studies. What material can be utilized performance improver? What can be studied as supplementary material? What can be utilized as part of the raw mix? So that our aim is there how to utilize all industrial waste, making a valuable product. Just recently, we got a team from the NMDC. There will be having also plenty of materials which can be utilized in construction sector or cement sector. For that, they're requesting NCCBM to a part, and also NCCBM also started just after 5. We are going to visit all the NMDC laboratory today. So these are the materials already. Alternate raw metal. We are doing up to 4% TSR in the alternate fuel, but some of the plants are already doing 25% or 30%. Now our aim is that how to achieve the target. Target is too hard, but for that also NCCBMs should play a very important role in connecting with the industries, and also how to use more material as an alternate fuel so that it will also greater impact to the reduction of carbon dioxide emission. So these are the already materials, like all the pipeline, lime slows, and ferrochrome slags, phosphorus chucks. All these materials have been characterized by NCCBMs, either a sponsored project or R&D projects, and also we can get the report submitted. So it will also help the Indian cement industry and also Government of India to help to reduce carbon dioxide emission. Next. Already I have explained, the material is huge available in RDF. So refuse derived fuel for MSW. So many municipalities doing well. In some of the municipalities, they are doing the actual required material which the cement industry can utilize it. And some municipalities, we have to take a role also through the ministry, how the municipality will give the required material to the cement industry at the gate so that they can utilize it. So that point was also yesterday discussed, and our additional secretary took the things to the municipality and MOA, because already different ministries has put the lines separately, but it is not linkage. So for the linkage, actually, he told that it is all doable. I can take the lead role. So, but NCCBM should also take a role with association with all the industries and experts, like all the people are already there. Because all the NCCBM is not expert only. We are taking the support of the industry leaders like Mahendra Singh ji, Ashwini Pahuja, Manoj Rastogi. So many people are there, and also Ultratech people are also there. So we can combine together so that to take the things in a better way, and so that we can make a bridge between the Government of India and also the industries as a whole, NCCBM. Next. Energy efficiency already declared, already covered by the Ashwini Pahuja. Next. PAD scheme, actually, here also we are doing a lot of roles in NCCBM. Become the BE is taking the lead there, and also NCB DG, the chairman of the BE. Also, we are connecting with the industries and also BE, how to also take further this work so that PAD cycle also get some energy saving also. Next. Waste heat recovery is also being done by the Indian cement industry, doing well. Next. Newer technology. Here actually the research plays a very important role, because we have not gone to that extent in India. For that, one team we have already done, that is actually carbon capture and utilization under the leadership of Mr. Anand Bhora. Because we have made the teams, different teams, because one team with the industry experts will tell how to work together so that our India, what is the 117 is there, that should come to 20 or 10. So that is our mission, and we have to take the support of all the leaders, all the industry leaders for that thing. And for this carbon capture, you can see it. And also some plants have already installed offsite and wind energy, electrification of pyro process from renewable power. And also we have to work on the green hydrogens, direct solar calcination, clinkerization. Recently, there is a huge stock of the phosphogypsum in Odisha. And recently they have made a team of the utilized phosphogypsum to stop imported gypsum. For that, actually, one way we have seen it is the calcination is the most important role. If the material when calcinate, it is successfully utilized. But calcination also involves a huge amount of money also. For that also, if the solar calcinations can be possible, there is the greatest contribution to the research also in NCCBM. So these are the different technology NCCBM is doing. That is a low carbon clinker, cement developed worldwide. geopolymer cement, NCCBMs and IITs are working for this thing. Then new clinker cement produced by 1250 degrees centigrade. That also NCCBM is doing. Our ether clinker is already developed by LafargeHolcim. And also we are taking the Solidia technology support also for this developing this product and also distributing this product to the Indian cement industry. And new cement and temperature below temperature Celite cement and eco binders, ilmenite and ferrite based clinkers. Then also direct separation of calcination CO2 from combustion CO2, that is by the emission intensity lime and cement LELAC technology, and cleaner and calcium looping post combustion carbon capture using oxygen in place of air for combustion, that is oxy-fuel technology. Use of hydrogen fuel in cement industry, that is pre-combustion capture. Similarly, post-combustion carbon capture, electrified cement production, same zero. Then RTH solvent-based capture, that is post-combustion carbon capture, and amine-based absorption, amine-based compounds also, that is post-combustion carbon capture. Then post-combustion carbon capture like SEMCAP, membrane-based liquefaction, post-combustion carbon capture like chilled ammonia process, and nanomaterials enhanced membranes for the carbon capture, that is Nanomex 2. So these are all technologies are already available, that carbon 8 aggregates and also carbon concrete composites, carbicrete and CO2 minimum and CO2 concrete and fast car also. But we have to take the collaboration of the industry, the other countries also for the same time, and also along with the collaborations and also Indian partners, NCCBM should do the work. For that, expertise team is already there, and also we are inviting the foreign experts also. And also we have taken 2 to 3 programs earlier with the Solidia technology and connecting industries. Dr. Sudha Sahu, he is a man of also India. He is doing exemplary job there. You see that our Indian brains are working excellently well in the abroad. We can take their support also to make India to that position also. Next. So already I have told Dalmia Cement has committed to become carbon negative by 2040, and this is quite possible also. But the action plan they have already shown in these presentations, and the leading role they're taking it, all should learn from them also in the action plan, meticulous action plan, measurable, and the leadership style. But the leadership to implement it, that also we learn from them, how actually our leader is also implementing all these things. And one company wherein that target is that 2050 the carbon neutral, and one leader for India is going to the Paris and also declaring that we want to be carbon negative 2040. This is a very admirable things, and also we should encourage Dalmia, we should learn from them also. So all the industries and NCCBMs and we should work together how to collaborate the things and India to make the India to that positions. Thank you very much for your kind attentions. So NCCBM's role is very clear, and also any help is required. Also, we are very much pioneer to do the works and support the industries how to reduce the carbon dioxide emission, and India will also do that positions. Thank you very much, Sahu.
Thank you, Dr. Mahapatraji, for a very nice presentation and updates of R&D activities. Now, Sarmaji, we can invite our participants to ask questions by unmuting themselves directly, so that they can convey their views also. So I request participants kindly unmute yourself and raise your question, please. Hello, Sarmaji. Then they can ask question, or
So I think we
are
don't
ready.
have any much question. You can go ahead and close the session, please.
Okay. Due to having large session for 1.5 hours, and it is around 1:45. So we really enjoyed, sir. I congratulate all the panelists. First, we started from Rastogi ji, then Ashwini Pahuja ji, then Mahapatra ji. All have presented very well for the topic, road to net zero carbon cement, and really this is the burning topic for whole world, you see. And if technology wise, we have gone through the presentation, really we are very happy to know that India is the leading in this technology thing, and even carbon footprint, we are having around 0.6. That is the really admirable, and our aim is up to say even up to 2040 we can go for negative. That is really very admirable. I thanks to all our panelists. I thank to SOCHM for organizing this cement tech, and all the participants are really enjoying this presentation. And I think all our cement industry, they will join hand, and in the umbrella of our NCC BM, really we will go as Mahapatra ji has told, we have to be within 20, not 117. So really let us fight for that. Thanks to everyone. Sharma ji, if you want to say something.
So, thank you, Mr. Sahu, for chairing the session very well. With this deliberation, we have come to the end of the session. We're thankful to all the panelists for sharing their great insights and views concerning the road to net zero cement in future, and also spending their valuable time to address us. And last, to our audience for their patient listening. Thank you to all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Sharma ji.
Thank
It's
you.
nice organizing. And also Sahu Sahab, all
Thank you,
regards to
sir.
our panelists or esteemed
Thank you.
panelists. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Mahapatra, Jaydev, Mr. Sahu, Mr. Pahuja.
Sir, I will invite all of you in some forum also. So kindly cooperate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It will be a
Our aim
pleasure.
is that India should be
Yeah.
20, within 20. That is the aim is there.
Yeah, definitely, sir.
Right.
Really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to all.
Thank you.
Thank you
Very much.
Anupam,
Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Pahuja sir. Namaskar ji. Manoj
Thank you,
Rastogi ji.
sir. Namaskar.